Hey everybody, Rob from Karma Comic Chameleon coming at you with a pro-revenge story. Abusive ex gets justice served. Let's jump right in. First of all, a long backstory about me, my of an ex-husband, and my boss. I was in an abusive relationship for over 6 years. My ex is a poor excuse of a human being, and I've learned to hate him more than anything else. I'm mad of myself to this day because it took me way too long to get out of this situation. It was not until I got pregnant that I had enough strength to escape everything so my child has a safe home. I planned everything in secret and left without a word. I moved as far away as I could go. I deleted all my social media accounts, got a new phone number, and used my maiden name again. With the money I saved, I bought a train ticket, and I've ended up in a small and extremely friendly village. To be honest, it was just a mistake that I've stranded there, but it was the best that could ever happen to me. I was desperate to get a job, but I dropped out of school and ran away with my ex when I was 16. I know it was stupid. I had no graduation, no driver's license, and I never worked before, but I was too scared to go to the Social Security office because I thought they might be giving out my new name and address to my ex. Later I've learned about women's shelters and data protection, but yeah, I was pretty dumb back then. It just happened that I applied to a small hotel in the village. The owners, my boss and her husband, are just amazing. If they ever need it, I would give my kidney to them. I just love them. My boss is the kindest and most understanding person I've met. But back to the story. I just applied to be a dishwasher. My boss told me they don't need more kitchen personnel. I don't know what happened to me at this moment, but I just broke down in tears and cried and cried. I thought she would be mad or something because it's not very professional, but she just stood up without a word, went outside, and when she came back a few minutes later, she had tea and snacks with her. She sat down and handed me the tea and calmly asked me if I want to talk about it. I don't know why, but I just talked and talked and talked over an hour. I told her everything. She said nothing and just listened the whole time. It felt amazing to just let everything out. When I finished, she said the most awesome words I've ever heard. Well, we don't need more kitchen personnel, but you can come in tomorrow and work 2 weeks with my husband at the front desk. If you prove yourself, you can start there. I never thought it was possible, but she explained to me that hotelier is not a registered job title, so everybody can open and or work in a hotel. To make the story not longer than it already is, my first day there was now over 8 years ago. I worked my ass off to repay her kindness, and it was more than worth it. My boss helped me through all this time. She allowed me to bring my child in when I had problems finding a babysitter, and paid me well enough even though I had no experience. She gave me days off so I can go to school, and I got my graduation after 2 years in evening school. After 5 years of work there, I got the admission to the final exam without vocational training. My boss promoted me to front desk manager 2 years ago, and I got a pretty nice $45,000 salary. It's enough for me and my daughter to go on vacation twice a year and live a great life. Things were awesome. I never felt better in life until my ex-husband showed up one day at work. He found out where I went because my mother's friend told him by accident. Great. Now he was there at my work telling me how he missed me and how he is sorry for everything that happened and he wants to be a family again. I kicked him out. A few days gone by and the police were at my door. My ex-husband called the police because of child abduction. It was complicated because of my youth. I've never thought about when I made my plans, but he was theoretically in the rights to do so. He was the father after all, and I left with the child. But I had one point on my side. He never signed custody, so I had sole custody, and therefore it was no abduction. Things were settled with the police, and I was allowed to go home. I told my boss everything, and I saw in her head formed a plan. She asked me if I had ever taken photos of the abuse, and luckily I did. I documented everything. Every single bruise and black eye. I had medical recordings for broken bones because he hit me with a chair until it broke, and a lot more. Another few days later, my boss got a call from my ex-husband asking for my number. She was more than happy to tell him he has to call back later because she is in a meeting. Lie. She told me, and we agreed to give him my work cell phone number. It doesn't even take him 10 minutes after he had the number to blow my phone up with messages and calls. First, he was nice, talking about how he missed me all those years, but after a few messages, it was clear he was after the money I make. Bitching about how I have such a good life now and left him all alone. Baha! He never worked a day in his life and just used and abused the system to pay for his alcohol and glue addiction. I shit you not, he spends over €500 a month just on glue to sniff it. He cussed at me and called me a whore, and even threatened to do harm to me and my child when I refused to take him back. With all these things in hand, my boss went to her longtime lawyer and asked him for advice. In the meantime, my ex-husband wanted to be settled in our hotel, for free of course, because I'm family after all. When I saw his name in the guest list, I was mad. I wanted to kick him out, but my boss told me not to. We have security cameras everywhere, and my boss wanted to make sure he is seen on it. I worked the front desk when he checked in, and I told him with a smile on my face to kindly f*** off and leave me alone. He always had a short fuse and hated when I talked back, so he was pissed and cussed at me. Still with a smile on my face, I just told him we are never going to be a family, and he is the worst person I've ever met. When he saw that I don't fear him anymore, he just hit me over the counter. I pressed my panic button and screamed. 2 of our cooks tackled him until the police arrived. They asked me if I wanted to press charges, and I of course said yes. My boss handed out complaint forms to all guests in the hotel, present or not in the incident, and asked them kindly to please note that they were disturbed through the commotion and they get 15% of their room prices. Funny thing, nearly all guests handed them back and got their 15% off. So as I said, the hotel lawyer looked into everything and he managed to sue him twice. Once on behalf of the hotel and the second for myself. We had so much evidence that he had to pay for all the money the hotel lost for hitting me in the face with the cost of the lawyer, $2.5K, and he was not allowed near the hotel anymore. For my trial, the judge said normally claims for damages lapse after 3 years, broken bones, etc., but he took my particular situation into consideration and I got $25K for damages to my body as well as emotional damage and a restraining order. The best part is, this whole trial made the tax office and the social services look into him and were more concerned with him. All funds he has evaded were charged to him, what was about $23K. He got 3 years on probation and 500 hours of community service. Honestly, the money was not important for me, and even though he got what he deserved, in my opinion, I'm proud to get back on him, and at the same time, still a bit sad. I blame a lot on me, because if I had made things different when I was younger, I might never end up in this situation, but I'm glad everything turned out well. I really hope the cooks weren't gentle when they took that guy down to the ground. I hope he suffered some damages. This is Rob from Karma Comment Chameleon saying thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share the video with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one.